It's Do Time with Pastor Steph.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. Rise and shine. You're on with this Do Time with Pastor Steph. How are you this morning? That's what I like to hear. That's what I like to hear. For this is the day the Lord has made. Let us rejoice and be glad in it. So, where were you all week? Oh, we started off the week shaking the Monday morning blues with the Do Time crew, and we talked about the lies people tell themselves in order for them to stay in the wrong relationship. Well, what about, I know they want me even though they won't admit it? Oh, we hope that you're just not that deep in, that far in. Listen, when people don't want you, what's the saying? If they tell you, then believe what they say, something to that effect. Yeah, you know the saying. You know the saying. It's the same thing. If they tell you they don't want you, then listen. They don't want you. And people have more than one way when they tell you they don't want you. Yes. So please make sure that's not a lie that you tell yourself. What about if I wait long enough, I'll get them to fall in love with me? People really say that, y'all. Oh my goodness. No. Wait long enough and let God send you the person that he wants for you. How about that one? Now that is not a lie. Okay. Let's get one more. What about they have so much potential? They may. We're the first ones to admit, yes, that people have so much potential. But guess what? If it's the wrong relationship, it's the wrong relationship. Get out. Make sure you do not stick around for things that are not for you. And you know what? Here's the thing. People don't realize that it may not be for you at that moment. It doesn't mean that it may not be for you forever. Yes, there's just times where God just needs you to just sit still for a second. And there's nothing like sitting still for the Lord. Nothing. Oh my gosh, there's nothing like sitting still for God. So listen, please do not be in the wrong relationship. Wait for the Lord to tell you when to move, how to move, and just be still, okay? Until God tells you to do so. All right. Well, let's talk about a Tuesday church folk day. We talked about those disrespectful church folk. Yes. What about Spider-Man twerking in the front of the church? Yeah. Even, I kept saying to myself, even if he wanted to dress up like Spider-Man, yes, go back and watch. It was literally Spider-Man. Even if you wanted to dress up like Spider-Man and dance and get your Holy Ghost, as they call it, on in the church, why you had to be in the front? And what pastor do you have that allows you to do all of this stuff here? Well, what about the disrespectful folk when the pastor was speaking and she said, you're just an employee. Yo, why people test you and try you? Yeah, go back and look at those videos because man, oh man, they were just not the best for people. Okay? Alrighty. Well, wow, Wednesday rolled around and we had our girlfriend Vivian and her socially conscious segment. And we talked about the young man who initially started off, with the not so good beginning. Yeah, he was in handcuffs at a very early age. But you know what? Thank God he got sick and tired of being sick and tired very early in life. And at the age of 27, he is now the youngest judge. Yeah, youngest judge in his state. Yo, man, talk about a turnaround and a prime opportunity for him to be able to just get to other young people who are not on the right path. Who better to reach young people than young people? Right? Right. Well, those student loans, man, as of May 5th, May 5th is going down. Is that Monday? This upcoming Monday, God spares. It's not going to look good if you're not paying your student loans, because, baby, they about to garnish your wages. They about to snatch your tax return, and they are going to start swiping some Social Security checks. Now, it just can't be that bad. You better go and agree to pay them $5, because if not, they're coming to take your money. And I always say to people, you do not want the IRS or this federal loan and these student loans to get behind you, because, baby, once those penalties and fees start incurring, all the currents, you ain't gonna be able to catch up. Yes, yeah, because those fees, I was just telling someone yesterday, those fees and interest, especially interest, they have a daily number that's moving. Yeah, I remember the day I thought I might have been finished paying off sending in let's say a garnishment, I had to call and say, this is so-and-so from so-and-so company, and I need the number for so-and-so. And that number was not the number that was on that paper, because if it took you 2 years to pay it off, that's 2 years worth of interest. So listen, go ahead and get that paid off. Okay? All righty. Well, yesterday, Therapeutic Thursday, man, we talked about being influential. Yes. And what's the best components for being a Christian influencer? Well, we had to go over the fact that once you were a Christian, you were really an influencer already. You don't have to go around telling people you were an influencer, but you definitely want to be faith-filled. Yes. Because you can't do anything without faith. Without faith, it's impossible to please God. Yes, you've got to be strategic. You can't do things all willy-nilly. You got to make sure that things are done in decency and in order. Yes. What? Be always the trendsetter. Make sure you're the one who is setting the tone. Let people watch you and want to emulate what you do. They want to be like you are in Christ. So listen, this is a tall order, being an influencer. You're not just an influencer out there trying to influence people to buy the new blouse or buy the new pair of sneakers. You're trying to get them to pull in the Lord into their life. Yes. Now that there, if you can influence people to do that, you're on target. Yes. And you're doing what God ultimately wants you to do. Okay? Well, today is Freestyle Friday, y'all. Woo, we made it. And we get to do whatever it is we want to do. Well, talk to the men is what we do. Yes. So, get ready, because last week, boy, were they cutting up. Yes, as they always do. So this week, we're going to see what they got going on. So go ahead and get that healthy breakfast. Go ahead and tell somebody that It's Due Time with Pastor Steph is on. And whatever you do, don't go anywhere, because we'll be right back.
Statue of Liberty was a black female. As a matter of fact, in a museum in New York, you can see the original design of the Statue of Liberty, which is a black woman. When the French artist created the Statue of Liberty, it was supposed to represent the end of slavery. On the original model, there were chains on the hands and feet, as we know. When the statue got to America, they wanted to erase any references to slavery from the statue, but the artist really fought to keep the chains on there because this is your art. You don't want people tampering with your art. And if you look, the chain is still on the foot of the Statue of Liberty to this day.
Well, the story was that it was a gift of the French to the slaves, and that the original statue had the picture of a black woman, the original model for it, and it had a distinctly African face. But it was Europeanized because the people in the United States did not want to have a black face sitting up there in their harbor, so they carved it out in France. They had to go back to the drawing board and remodel the face after the what they call the patron saint of Manifest Destiny. So the patron saint of Manifest Destiny, that's her face on the what do you call the Statue of Liberty, which was transposed from the African face. In fact, you see the patron saint of Manifest Destiny in the symbol for Columbia Pictures at the beginning of the movies. That's the patron saint of Manifest Destiny.
Good morning, and good morning again. Welcome back to It's Due Time with Pastor Steph, and it is Freestyle Friday. Whew. Giving God thanks that we have made it safely through another week. And together, nonetheless. I'm having a good time, and I'm so grateful that I'm able to spend these mornings with you. Now, yesterday I did ask for some remedy for these allergies because my eyes are killing me. And we did get some from Lady Raina. So make sure you go grab some stuff. Vivian also said that there are some allergy meds that you can take that don't make you drowsy, because I don't think y'all want me drowsy early here in the morning. So look it up, because man, it is killing me. So woo! I want to say good morning to all of you. So please make sure if you're in the room, you check in and let Pastor Steph know that you're in the room. Now, while we're checking in, make sure if you have not already hit that subscribe button, that you please do so. And make sure you hit that notification bell so that you can be alerted each and every time the ministry goes up. When I say the ministry, is because we've got quite a few things coming through on this YouTube channel. Last night, were you a part of my 2 cents? Man, it was good. It was good. It's good. It was good. We reviewed Cross, the series, the last 4 episodes, and we reviewed The Piano Lesson from Netflix. So had you been subscribing, you would have known about that. We've got With All Due Respect on here with Shantice and V. Let's see. We've got Sunday Night Prayer right here. So there's a lot for you to be notified of. Okay. So join us, but make sure you check in and you hit that subscribe button. Okay. All right. Who are we saying good morning to this morning? We're saying good morning to Miss Ketty. Hey, Ketty girl. Good morning, and thank you so much for joining us. We have a hearty good morning from our friend Serge. Hey, Serge. Good morning. Thank you so much for joining us. We've got our boy Terrence. Hey, Terrence. Good morning. Thank you so much for joining us. And we got our girl, Lady Tamika, laying up in the cut today. Good morning. And hopefully we'll be seeing Brother Al. And Clarendon 24 Hour. Thank you. Thank you, thank you. She said, take it before you go to bed. And when you wake up, troubles will be gone. Woo! I got something to run out and go get today. Thank you. Claritin 24 hours. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Because this is kicking my butt right here. So we got to make sure we say good morning to the ladies that hold us down each and every day, that keep us live, up and running. Let's say good morning to our girl Anika. Hey Anika, thank you so much for joining us. And we got our girl Shantice. Good morning, Shantice. Thank you so much for doing what you do. If it weren't for you all, we would not be on in the morning. All righty. All right. So you know how we do on a Friday morning. I hope that you're ready, you're up and running, because I got a list here and I need you to join me. I don't know what's on this list, but I got some bad emotional habits you learned in your childhood that you need to let go of. Ooh, I don't know what's on this list, but baby, you need to let go. Remember, Pastor Steph always says, a big mess was what? Let's say it together. Was once a little mess. Yes. So let's see what's going on here. They say always putting yourself last. Something that you did in your childhood that you need to let go of. Listen, you cannot always put yourself last. No, that's not going to work. That is not going to work. Because you know what? Do you know how many resentful people are walking around out here? Resentful adults, because they've always put themselves last. Like, what about me? What about me? What about me? Well, what about you? Go get some of you, but make sure it's in the priority that God needs you, because sometimes we're just on the opposite side of the fence when you put nobody first because you're selfish, and that starts off in your childhood. So let's make sure we don't have either habit, that we seek God first for what we are to do first, who we are to put first after him, and maybe there will be some happy older people. All right. What else? Swallowing your truth to keep peace. Oh my goodness. Especially in intimate relationships. No. Man, if you ain't learned nothing else on this here morning, please learn that you just cannot keep your mouth shut all the time to keep the peace. Because if that's not a walking time bomb, man, you're going to be one big mess. Let's see. Walking on eggshells around certain personality types. Well, that's kind of like the same thing. You can't move, you can't sneeze, you can't cough, you can't turn around too fast, you can't sit down too slow or stand up too fast. No, you cannot walk on eggshells. You cannot walk on eggshells to make other people happy. That's not going to work. That is not going to work. Again, it's just going to breed resentment. All right. Hiding your accomplishments to avoid being labeled as too much. Yeah. No, we can't do that either. No. Let's make sure that whatever we do, we are doing what we need to do. And we are celebrating it in the Lord. Yes. And when I say in the Lord, I mean because you don't want to be a bragger either. Whatever God has you accomplish, you couldn't accomplish it by yourself. So therefore, make sure that you don't go overboard, but that you temper yourself so that you're happy in what you've accomplished, and other people can see that you're happy in what you've accomplished. And you ever see people that just have accomplished so much and they're so humble, you would never know they had what they had underneath their cap? Man, that's the kind of person that God needs you to be. All right. Reading between the lines that aren't there. A know-it-all. A person who always figures like, oh, something is going on. You just don't understand. I figured you out. Yes, get rid of that. Yes, get rid of that. There's some stuff here on this list, and I didn't think that this is the kind of stuff that would be on this list. So listen, if you got some other stuff that you think that you did as a child that you need to get rid of as an adult, please make sure you add it, because I'm open to reading it. All right. All righty. Let's see. Absorbing other people's emotions as your responsibility. A lot of people do that. Like, you can't tell them anything because now it's their problem. It's like, well, how does that work? No, we can't live like that. No. It's okay to assist, but you can't assist with everything. Sorry. No. And sometimes people do that to get away from their own stuff. So that might be something that you need to do, and make sure you get it done, because you can't carry everybody's weight. No, that's not going to work either. That's not going to work either. Believing criticism is the same as helpful feedback. Oh my goodness. You know how there's some people just don't know what to say? Oh my goodness. No. Believing criticism is the same as helpful feedback. Sometimes just don't say anything. No, just listen. Sometimes we can listen, because it's not the same. No, there's a time and place for everything. And God will let you know. He'll let you know what to say, when to say it, and how to say it. Yes. Okay. So let's make sure we do what we're supposed to be doing. What else? Staying small to avoid outshining family members. That happens a lot with siblings. Yeah, that happens a lot with siblings. And that is definitely something that you don't want to do, because when I talk about breed resentment, they end up hating one another. And it always comes out in like the worst way. There's this wonderful event going on, and then all of a sudden there's this big explosion. It's like, yo, what just happened? Well, that's because they've been walking around holding on to their shine so that someone else can shine. And a lot of times that comes from the other parents, not the parents, but the parents who always, got those alarms going off for someone else and not you. Let's see if we got something going on in this chat room. All right. Tamika says, don't always be the person to one up you. Okay. All right. Let me try to do this again. Don't always be the person to one up you. All righty. I rode a horse one time. Their response is always better, even if they have to lie. Yeah. Take that advice. All right. All righty. Thank you so much for that. Keep them coming, y'all. Keep them coming. All right. I don't like to read just from the list. I always like to get my due time viewers involved. The compulsion to fix everyone's problems except your own. Absolutely. Absolutely. I know somebody like that now. They're always running behind everybody else's problems. No. And your own stuff is not fixed. You can't. No, I'm sorry. You cannot be a fixer when you don't know how to fix you. I don't care how great you think you are. No, it doesn't work like that. No, I'm sorry. No. Sometimes you need to just lay off other people and just focus on you. And it's not about being selfish, but you always digging in somebody else's stuff. You don't ever have what you ultimately need because you're never trying to work on you. Yeah. Yeah. And it doesn't mean that your suggestions are the worst. It just means that they're not the best either. And God always wants us to provide the best. Okay? All right. What else we got going on here? Deflecting compliments because accepting them felt dangerous or awkward or undeserving. Yeah. Yeah. So you don't want to deflect compliments. When God allows someone to see how great you are in something and people say so, say thank you. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. Learn to say thank you and just move along. Alrighty. Overthinking decisions due to fear of making the wrong choice. People wear you out. Oh my goodness, they wear you out. It's like you don't even want to listen anymore. No. Oh my, every little thing. Well, I can do this, but if I do this, then it's this, and this. You know what? How about I do this? Well, if I do this, then this. Yo, just make a move. Just make a move. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. But you don't have to overthink it. Because it ain't going to work anyway. Cuckoo. Yes, absolutely. Alrighty. Abandoning your needs when someone shows the slightest disapproval. Ooh, how did we get here? Yeah, those people do exist. Those people do exist. And again, you get nowhere. You get nowhere and you have nothing. All right. And that's it. Let me see if I got any suggestions. Shanti says, people, yes, people wear you out. Absolutely. Stop allowing others to discourage you from what you know you should be doing. Amen. Amen. Definitely. That's the route we want to take. All right. I need like a quick I'm back. All right, what we got for the news today? Oh, let's see. Well, you know how we do on Fridays. This is our celebrity news or TV stuff or, all kinds of things that we like to talk about. All righty. Well, this was so interesting. I've been watching this article all week, the headlines all week. And I'm like, you know what? People need to stop. And I'm so glad that there were some people who decided to speak up correctly about this. All righty. So Terrence Howard was giving an interview and he talked about, Terrence Howard. Yes, Terrence Howard from Empire and The Best Man. Yes. Well, Terrence Howard was giving an interview and he talked about the fact that he was approached about doing a Marvin Gaye biopic. Now, I'm a little surprised because there's a guy who plays on Law and Order. I can't think of his name. But they offered him, this has been talked for well over 10 years, that he was offered an opportunity to play Marvin Gaye. And I mean, I'm surprised that this Marvin Gaye thing has not come out a long time ago. So we've been kind of sitting waiting on that one, but it has not come out. So instead, we are now hearing that Terrence Howard was offered the opportunity to do so. And they say he met with Smokey Robinson to discuss playing him in a movie. Now, he says he told Smokey at the time, So here's okay. Somebody approached him to also portray Smokey Robinson. And he told Smokey that he couldn't take the role because he was offered the Marvin Gaye opportunity. That's how it goes. Well, Lee Daniels is actually the one who is now behind trying to put together this Marvin Gaye movie. And so, what's his name? Terrence Howard actually met with Quincy Jones. And he asked Quincy, listen, I'm hearing Marvin was gay. Is it true? Was he gay? And Quincy said yes, supposedly. So after he said that Quincy Jones was supposedly gay, he said he wasn't going to bother with it because he said that if it meant that he would have to kiss another man, he was not going to do so. He just wasn't interested in doing the role that bad. Well, they started labeling him homophobic. And he said, his words exactly, I can't surrender myself to a place that I don't understand. Okay, so why is it so hard to believe? Why does he have to be homophobic to say no? So he's a little kind of off kilter also. He said because all he's ever heard is that Marvin Gaye was married twice and he has 2 or 3 kids. And he said, I never heard of anything about him being gay. So I'm not interested in pursuing that. Also, because I'm not going to pursue something that I'm not even sure was the truth. If I'm going to be portraying someone. And you know what? For Pastor Steph, big ups to Terrence Howard. Because some people just don't care. You know how many people would just jump at the opportunity to portray, someone famous? Marvin Gaye. Yeah, you would want to be known for, when you're, when you go down for having played Marvin Gaye. Well, he was like, nah, no, thank you. So now, his name is Jesse L. Martin. That's the one who was initially approached from Law and Order to play Marvin Gaye, and he looks a lot like Marvin Gaye. So I'm really surprised why that did not go over. But they say the project fizzled, and now they're on to Lee Daniels trying to pursue this thing. And boy, they are really, really, really smashing Terrence Howard about this homophobic thing. And that's just like so unfair. That is so unfair. So unfair. And they went to Twitter and they got like some feedback from people, and it was kind of mixed. There were some people that said, oh, he's homophobic, and there were others were like, if he doesn't want to portray it, he has every right to say no. Leave him alone. Go away. So I'm with Terrence Howard. I'm not going to portray something that I'm not comfortable with. I mean, people turn down roles all the time. So if you don't want to kiss a man, then leave him alone. You don't want to kiss a man, whether he's homophobic or not. That's his business. Leave him alone. What else are we talking about in the celebrity world today? All righty. Okay. We got to wake up here. All right. So this is kind of interesting. So Erica Alexander and Kim Coles, and those 2 names, they are from our Living Single family. They are actually launching a podcast, and it's about reliving Living Single. They're going to be going behind the scenes of one of our favorite 90s sitcoms, and they're going to talk about some stuff that we've never heard of, stuff we've never known, and they're like, hey, I'm up for a reboot. But in the absence of the opportunity for a reboot, they're going to open up this podcast. Now, this podcast starts on Monday, I believe, May 5th. May 7th, I'm sorry. And they said that it's going to be the unofficial Living Single rewatch. So they're going to be on all of our favorite streaming services. So you've got iHeartRadio, you've got Spotify, YouTube, wherever you want to find them. So if you're interested in, doing that living single thing, then at least you'll have two. They said they will be bringing on some members of the cast, so it might be fun. It might be fun. Let's see. Okay. Jussie Smollett. Now, remember, this was this huge thing back in 2019 about, whether he was really assaulted or not. And remember, they found him guilty and he was supposed to do like time in jail and pay like $130,000 worth of fines and blah, blah, blah. Well, I don't know what happened. I don't know who kept this up, but they have now decided that they were wrong. Yeah. They have now decided that they are wrong, that they were wrong, and they're trying to reach some kind of a settlement and give him some money. Yeah. I don't know. They're not saying, and it's not the first time I'm reading this, they're not saying exactly why or how they found out or they've arrived at the fact that they are wrong about what happened. But they say all of this whole thing was just overturned. And now they're in negotiations for settlement. Go figure. After they just smashed the man's career and made him look a mess, now you trying to settle? Yo, I don't know. Something don't sound right here. I don't know. But listen, if he's found innocent or not guilty, because they say that's not the same thing, then you know what? If he's owed something, then give it to him. Give it to him, give it to him, give it to him. If he's owed, then give it to him. Well, I've got something else. Now, last night we were talking on My Two Cents about Cross. We were reviewing Cross, and we were talking about how phenomenal that series was. And I got a little annoyed. Our brother Ainsley was talking about something, and I got so annoyed because I said to them, I said, as phenomenal as this series was, not the series, not any of the actors, not any of the people behind the scenes were ever even recognized on any one of these shows, these award shows. So, bump them. Enough is enough of us supporting them, watching them, waiting for them. Well, lo and behold, I get off of that, go to do my news for today. And now there's something else in the news about these Oscars. Now, what was it, a week and a half ago or a couple of weeks ago? We talked about how they are going to be mandated to watch the shows that they vote on. Whoa. Okay. Yeah, that would be nice, which explains why shows like Cross and Fight Night, those things were not even recognized from in the Academy Awards or any of these other award shows, Golden Globes. Well, I stumbled across an article where people are now they're going through the roof, because now that they've mandated that you must watch what you vote on if you're going to be a part of these nominations and this voting process, you now find out that people are cheating how they watch. So let's go back a little bit. So in order for you to prove, there's some kind of device that they give you, and you have to press that in order to indicate that you are watching a particular movie, show, or whatever, right? So it flags them in, let's say, the headquarters. That's where they were. Well, they found out that some people were flipping the button and going to work. Coming back, they were cheating. There were some people that was actually flipping the switch, but then turning off the sound. Yeah. So they found, I don't know how they found out, but I'm going to tell you something. People talk. Oh, yeah, here's what I did. Ha, ha, ha. Yeah. So now they're trying to figure out, well, hey, why even bother? If you don't want to watch, then why bother? If you want to vote, then go through the due process. Well, here's why. Because you got your favorites. So if Zoe Saldana says, hey, I'm in this movie, I need you to vote, or I need you to nominate me, and go ahead and do so. If Zoe Saldana, I want to get her in there, I'm going to do whatever it takes to get up in there. Yeah. And now they're trying to figure out, well, how are we going to get this done? Because especially now that people have spilled the beans. So now this is what, 90 something years of the Oscars, and all of the dirt is coming out. Well, they're saying, well, what are we going to have to do? Hold viewing parties? Well, there's going to be a whole lot of viewing parties, because how many movies and shows and all kinds of things is it going to, are you going to have in order to get an attendance roster going on? So I don't know how they're going to get this done, but yeah, the validity of the Oscars have gone straight down the tube, because ain't nobody believing nothing no more, because it was shoddy to begin with. It took y'all 90 years to figure out we actually need people watching in order to vote. Somebody spilled the beans. That didn't come out on its own. So I don't know. I would really like a suggestion. Yeah, I would like some suggestions as to make sure these people watch what they're voting on, or who they're nominating. Oh well. All right, let me snatch up one little news story for me to talk about with my due time crew, and then I'll get to chatting with them. Let's see, what are we talking about? I don't know. Just kind of whack this morning. I found better news in the celebrity area. Alrighty. Okay. Well, you've got this man who found out that his daughter was being assaulted by some boy she was dating. And he approached him. Him and the daughter went to approach the young man, and they beat him to death. There is no justice out here. I'm telling you. Yeah, they say they went over to meet him, and somebody hit him in the head with a metal bat. and he was a couple of people who assaulted him, and one being the gentleman or the young man who assaulted the daughter. And while they assaulted him, they assaulted the daughter as well. So the both of them went over there and were assaulted. And unfortunately, dad ended up losing his life. So it's like, what do you do at this point? Well, I guess you got to go to the regular route, because what was it, yesterday? We did the story on the guy who had his little girl, 6-year-old, sexually assaulted by a friend, and he found out, via a video, took him out to a remote place, got the guy to dig his own ditch, and what did they call it? They made him commit suicide, induced suicide. And now today, you've got this guy who just went over there to discuss. You assaulted my daughter, and they assaulted and killed him. Yeah, he died. 54-year-old man died after being assaulted with a metal bat and maybe something else. So I don't know. It's like, you, as they say, damned if you do, damned if you don't. So I don't know. That might send more people celebrating and what do you call it thing? Remember, that's how we got to the influencer, because they were sending him gifts and all kinds of things after they found out that he had killed the pedophile. And they were like, well, thank you. We appreciate you. So this is kind of crazy. All righty. We've got Shanti says, would the biopic have to include his homosexual lifestyle? And that's a good question, Shantice. A really good question. Well, you know what? They always wait till after the people die to now go dragging out all the dirt on them that had not come out when the people was alive. And that's what Terrence Howard was kind of against. He was like, listen, I never heard this before. So I'm not interested in doing all of this stuff here. If I'm going to do Marvin's life, I want to do Marvin's life. I'm not going to do that part of it. So he ended up turning down the whole role. But that is a really good question. Shanti says Terrence Howard has concerns. That makes sense. Absolutely. Absolutely. I told you people don't play with their daughters. Absolutely, Tamika. Now they going in. Now the man is like, I'm approaching this person who assaulted my daughter. Well, unfortunately, it cost him his life. Oh boy, let's talk to the Due Time crew. Who's available first? Shantice? Brother Ainsley. Good morning, and good morning.
Hey, good morning, Pastor Steph.
How are you?
I'm doing all right. Thank God, I'm doing all right.
Good. Yo, let's talk about this Terrence Howard thing.
Okay.
Where he's declined the opportunity to portray Marvin Gaye in a biopic movie, and they're calling him homophobic because he says, I'm not going to be kissing on no man. That's just not what I'm interested in doing. I don't want to, I forgot the terminology he used, but he doesn't want to do it. Does this mean homophobia, or does he have a right just to say no?
Of course he got a right just to say no. I don't want to do it. Yo, he could even be gay and be like, nah, I don't want to do that.
Nice thought.
Listen, this is part of Hollywood. You know how many times somebody turned down a role and then somebody comes in and do it and kill it. This is part of Hollywood, the whole thing and whatnot. People turn down roles all the time. It is that should even be a question. Now you know what is a question though. Now Marvin, he's been gone now. I think about 30, 40 years now. You know how many?
Yes, it's 84.
Yeah. So we're talking good time now. I'm like, how come there hasn't been one made since? I know I know you mentioned the guy from
Law and Order.
Law and Order. I remember seeing him. Because every time somebody want to portray him, they put on the red.
Yes, the beanie. Yes.
And whatnot. I know he tried to do it. I know on a local level, people, somebody we don't know, Damian Bailey. I know he tried to do his own little Marvin
Really?
Gaye skit and things, stuff like that.
Okay.
I know a lot of people try to do them, and I think it's always something with the family, getting
Okay.
clearances and stuff like that. But it's like that. This should have been done a long time ago.
Yeah.
If he died
Yeah.
in '84, by '94, there should have been something done. Come on now.
Yeah. Yeah.
10
Yeah.
years,
Yeah.
and he was such a iconic
Yes.
figure,
Yes.
vocalist,
Yes.
and in
Yes.
our to our community and stuff like that. So it's way, way, way overdue.
Yes, I agree. I
So
definitely agree.
I'm like, this should have been done a long time ago. But I think it's more like a family clearance issue.
Okay.
Um,
Okay.
who has the rights? Is it the wife? Which wife? The kids? That whole thing. The state. Blah 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 blah. So
Okay.
yeah, but Terrence
Well,
Howard, of course not. Yeah, I'd be like, I'm with you, and he's standing on principle. Because I don't know if you know,
right.
he made a I saw a clip. He even commented on along the same thing about P. Diddy. He realized P. Diddy was trying to come on to him.
Yes.
And he was like,
Yes.
nah.
Yes. Yes.
He caught
Yes.
that. He was like,
Yes.
no. So
Yeah. Yeah. I did see that in the last couple of weeks. There were a few articles where he said out loud that Diddy was trying to come on to him, and he said no. So you're right. He's out here now. He's saying what he's got to say, doing what he's got to do, and I'm not keeping it secret. So
yeah, I agree with that, man.
yes,
Doesn't mean you just because you want to participate in that, all of a sudden you homophobic. Nah, listen, nah. I'm not. If I was an actor, I'd be like, no, I ain't trying to do that. Period.
yes,
Do you?
yes,
I'm doing me.
absolutely, absolutely. Shati says Diddy was trying to come on to who? Terrence Howard said that Diddy was trying to come on to him, and he was like, nah. yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's been out in the news for like the last few weeks. Yeah, within the last few weeks it came out. All right. Brother Ainsley. Last night we talked about the Oscars, and I was like, yo, all this talent out here, they have blatantly overlooked. And now today, we're talking about the fact that, all right, so y'all trying to take these steps to ensure that everybody who is nominating or voting within the Oscars have watched what they're voting on. And now it's come out that these people are cheating
in the first place, right?
Right. Long 90 years overdue.
Yeah.
And you talk about Marvin Gaye, this 90 years overdue, almost a whole century overdue. And now you've got people who say, yeah, I flipped the switch, but yet I cut the volume down. So it shows that I've watched it, but I really haven't watched it. Or I flipped the switch to show that I watched it, but I've gone to work while it played in my house. What would be the suggestion to ensure that these people have actually viewed what they're voting on?
It reminds me of in the last few years since the pandemic, when people are working from home, and now they got things like people, they have it on their computer that they say to show that you're moving the mouse, because it shows that you're working.
Wow.
Right, but then some people got hip to it. They had this machine, a little something device to put over their mouse pad to make it seem like it's moving.
Wow.
So companies got wise to that. I can detect, okay, this is not a human doing this. All right. So I think the same thing kind of applies towards this. There are ways that you got to put a camera on the person watching the movie.
Wow.
Or,
okay.
The devices, you got to see the person at the beginning, sometime 2 times in the middle or 2 times in the end, with and indicating that the volume is up and whatnot. Because you give people an inch, they're gonna take a mile. They're gonna find a way to not have to do it. You know what I'm saying? And so that's just how the people gonna find a way to get out of stuff. It's like, oh, that's what the rules are. Let me find a way how they can get around it and stuff like this.
Right.
And I think technically there are ways. I think just got to be more sophisticated about it. Now, how much it's going to cost? Is it going to be worth it or not? That's another story. But I think there's probably a way to do it. But here again, and probably at this point in time, like I think how I feel, it's like the heck with the Oscars. I mean, it don't carry that much weight to me. Now it carries less weight. Now I know you nominate and awarding people for movies you ain't watched.
Right.
That's like fraud to me.
Right. That's what I say. It's trash now. It is utter trash now.
What kind of credibility could you possibly have?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
This is the best movie. And you didn't watch the doggone thing.
Right. Or this is the best actor, and you ain't even seen them act.
Right. And you know what? And I think though, really, I don't think it's really the actors and actresses. I think it's the movie production, the studios, because they're the ones that make the money off of it. So they're gonna be like, yo,
absolutely.
It's more of a marketing, If it wins awards, it brings more notoriety. People want to go see it. It brings more money and stuff like that.
Right.
So I really don't think it's the actors. They just this is the happy benefit of it all.
Right. Absolutely.
Yeah. So I mean, if they really want to clean up the act, they can do it. But is there really a will to really do that?
Right. Nice point. Is there a real will to get it done? Anika says, I bet they don't want to watch, especially black movies, to boost the viewership numbers. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Black movies. Yeah. And I'm surprised too. And I heard the people say, even George Lucas say this. He was talking about when he did the black movie with the black the fighters, the Red Devils. Anyway, he was like, well, the amount of money he poured in to make the movie is the amount of money that Tyler Perry normally grosses on his movies. Because he said, black movies supposedly don't, then people like overseas, people don't really watch our black movies. All right. And so the investment he put more in to make the movie, like $100 million or such it was, and that's what Tyler Perry normally makes off his movie.
Wow. All right. Wow.
But then I heard somebody just recently say, no, that's not true. People over there want to see what we see over here too.
Absolutely.
And so you really can't say that. If you don't make it available.
Right.
Keep portraying us in trash. People don't want to see trash.
Right.
I want to see a trashy Asian movie. Trashy,
It doesn't matter. That's right.
Exactly.
It doesn't matter.
So
wow.
Movie over there, how you gonna see it? We see international movies over here.
Right. It's the same thing.
If it's good, we're gonna watch it. Like what's that crazy Asian movie? Crazy, I forget the name of it, but it's the Asian. If it's good, we're gonna watch it.
Right. Plain and simple as that. Absolutely. Absolutely. Wow. What we got? Tamika says, when you play roles which include homosexuality, it sometimes causes people to look at you with the side eye, especially repeated roles like Ving Rhames, Dwayne Johnson, Michael Williams. One movie typeset you for more movies that way. Absolutely. It's like anything else they worry about. They don't want to be typecast. So
can I roll a little bit too good?
Good point. That's right. Oh my goodness. Good point, Tamika. Who's up in this room with me and Brother Ainsley? Who else is here? Oh, Pastor KL. Good morning.
What it do, crew?
What it do, bro?
How are you?
I'm well. How about you?
I'm okay. Thanks. I'm okay. Listen, we're talking about Terrence Howard having the opportunity to play Marvin Gaye in this biopic movie. He says, no, thank you, if it means kissing another man. And now they're he's homophobic. He's a big homophobe. Or what's the matter with him? It's just a role. I say he has every right. Brother Aisley says he has every right. What say you?
He definitely has every right. I mean, people have standards, and there's things that they just won't do. You know what I mean? And it could be past the homophobic thing. I mean, people might not want to play the bad guy, or you know what I mean. It's different things that people don't want to do. That's going to be morally incorrect for them. You know, all the other side is maybe he didn't want to kiss that particular guy. Maybe that wasn't his cup of tea. Maybe it was somebody else. He would have considered it. But once he found out, saying that it was Pastor Jeff, he said, "No, we're not going to do that."
You know what? I can't. Oh my goodness gracious. Oh my goodness. It's Pastor Jeff is on here too. Oh my goodness. I should have known he was on here if you included him. Oh my goodness. All right. What about these Oscars? They said, okay, now we're mandating that you have to view it. So they gave them a device to show whether they are viewing it or not. And now you've got the cheaters who flip the switch and go on about their business. So flip the switch and turn the audio down. So they're really not watching it. What could be a way that they could ensure that these people are actually watching these movies?
I don't know, because listen, so I'm for it and I'm against it. Right now, as we speak, I'm taking mandatory tests that we're supposed to take. Do you hear any tests going on? Do you hear anybody talking to me? No. You don't hear any of that. The sound is down and I keep on clicking next. You know what I mean? Every 6 months, I mean, just being honest, every 6 months they give out the same test. I've been here 15 years. I know the answers. So I'm just trying to get to the text. Unfortunately, you can't forward it to the text. So you have to go through this whole thing. So as I'm speaking to you, I'm letting the thing run. And I'm going to pass the test. Now, if they find a way to figure out that I ain't watching, I'm going to be upset. So, this is a twofold thing for me.
Okay. So the answer to that question is no, I ain't figured it out except for just play the game.
Just play.
All righty. Okay. Anika says, right. So if he turned down a role being a crackhead, would that make him discriminatory against crackheads? Absolutely. That's the first thing I thought about. So if he didn't want to play a drug addict, what would that mean? People are so silly. Absolutely. Absolutely. All right. Where's Pastor Jeff? Let's see what he has to say. Good morning, Pastor Jeff.
Good morning. How you doing?
How are you?
Good. I just
good.
Got insulted that Terrence Howard don't want to kiss me, man. I thought I was kissable.
Well, listen, that's only according to Pastor KL. If we really told Terrence Howard that it was you, it might be a different answer. So don't pay attention to Pastor KL. He's just jealous, Pastor Jeff. Jealous.
I've had my time in that little Hollywood scene, and I've had a lot of them want to kiss me, and Terrence turning me down. I mean, come on.
Leave it to Pastor Jeff. Okay, you got a story to tell us, Pastor Jeff. Yeah. All right. So, does he have a right to just say no without being homophobic?
I mean, yes, he has a right to just say no without being homophobic, because you don't want to get typecast into certain things, and then I'm feeling him. You don't want other people to think that that's even you at all. Like I always knew Will Smith was a homo, because that first 6 Degrees of Separation movie he played, you had to be, gay to play that. Have a man climbing on top of you with no drawers on, and now it's coming out, that, my boy with that Dwayne doing them, you know, and all that, you know.
Oh Lord have mercy! I can't. I so can't. Leave it to Pastor Jeff. Leave it to Pastor Jeff. Okay, yeah. Well, we agree. We agree. You know, listen. Like a nigga said, you know. So now, if you don't want to play a crackhead now, you scared of crackheads. People they turn down roles all the time. So what's the big deal? What about this Oscars thing? Do you have a suggestion as to how they can ensure that these people have actually watched these movies that they're voting on?
I mean, I don't know how they're going to regulate that, because we're always going to find ways around, you know,
To jump
doing
rules, right?
You know, maybe they should just pick diversified people from a group and have them all in one place and pay them to watch these movies. Maybe, I don't know, and you know, where they can watch the movie. So I don't know, because we're always gonna find a way around it.
Absolutely, and that was one of my thoughts. My thoughts was, why don't you just pick people, and then you know they're gonna watch the movie, and they watch the movie. You know, we'd watch the movie for you. We ain't gonna lie. Pay me, I'll watch it for you. You know, that might be, you know, one of the answers as to how it could be done. Shati says, I miss the Siskel and Ebert days. Yeah, where they watched the movie and they talked about the movie. So you knew they had watched the movie. All right. So, I mean, it ain't going to be too many more ways you're going to be able to push this thing. Now, I got a question for you gentlemen. There was a story where this gentleman, he found out that his daughter was being assaulted by this guy she was dating. He decides to go and approach him. And when he approached him, they attacked him, hit him in the head with a metal baseball bat, and he ended up dying. Just yesterday, we did a story on a gentleman who had a 6-year-old daughter, and who has a 6-year-old daughter. And they showed, he found a video of his best friend making her do sexual acts on him. So what he did was, they said he took the matter into his own hands. He drove him out to a remote place, made him dig his ditch, and then made him kill himself. So everybody in Russia was praising him and thanking him for getting rid of the predator. And he had to end up doing, they gave him 18 months. He ended up doing 12. Which route do you go? Now, I'm not saying necessarily have him kill himself, but either side, you know, there's possibly no justice. I'm gonna start with you, Pastor Jeff. You know, how do you handle when a guy is doing something to your daughter?
Listen, I don't think I would have made him kill himself. I would have cut him, you know, I would have tortured him for days, hours, months. You know, I'd have kept him in a room and he'd get tortured every single day. You know, you know, killing yourself is too easy if you touch my daughter. You know, I'm sorry, or any of my kids, any of my family, and I'm that way. And you know, I can't tell some of my stories now. You know, I don't want to be.
I know he was gonna say that.
I don't want to be incriminated.
I
don't want to be.
I knew that was coming.
But
plead the fifth. Yeah.
I'm not. You're not getting away with that. I'm sorry. You not if I can help it. If I'm told it, not if I can help it. You know.
All righty. Brother Ainsley, you know, the one side You take matters into your own hands and it doesn't work out for you. The other side, you take matters into your own hands, it doesn't work out for you. How do you pursue this thing?
Yeah, I understand, gentlemen. For your daughter, you gonna do what you gotta do, and I'm sorry. Um, and I'm like Pastor Jeff though, because I'm like I always been like if touch my daughters, I'm gonna handle that right then and there on the spot. You know, um, right there on the spot. Like even uh my cousin, even though it's my cousin, we like brother and sister and whatnot. And once, got a word that her boyfriend put her hands on her, we like, what? He know better than that. So me and my other cousin, we went to go make a visit. And he found out we was coming and he broke out. He left. And we waited for like 3 hours for this brother to come back. And he would not come back home and whatnot. But I'm saying I was like, and and then like for my daughters, I always make a say, I want to meet your boyfriend. I want them to know, listen, there's a man in your life. Even my adoptive daughter, there's a man in your life. Please know I'm here. You know what I'm saying? Don't even think about it. Because sometimes some men think, all right, there's no man in their life. They got that more freedom. They can get away with something like that.
Yeah.
It shouldn't matter no matter what. But I'm sorry, sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do. And as a man, you know that's strict violation right there. You better hope the police get to you before I get to you. You know what I'm saying? So sorry the guy had to die, justice shouldn't have went that way, but I can't be mad at the father. I just can't. I'm like, I hear you.
That's a diable offense. Okay.
Yeah. I'm ready to go for mine. That's it, bro. It's just willingly,
Okay. Wow. All righty. Pastor KL.
Yeah, I'm kind of with the fellas. First of all, so let's stay in the pastoral realm. Let's stay in that realm. God, you said that you'll forgive me 70 times 7, because I'm about to do something. So I'm going to stand on your word. I'm about to do something. And then the second thing is, from the pastoral realm, this guy messing with my daughter must have been blind. So baby, call him and tell him that your dad is by the river giving sight to the blind. Because I'm about to kill him. He's going to see what's coming for him. And I'm probably going to do the best eulogy you ever had. It's going to be great. And I'm going to be one of the preachers who always say he's in a better place. Because he is. He's in a better place.
But you got to make sure he's guilty, though. I almost went up to my granddaughter's school the other day because she told me the security guard there put his hands on her, and I was going, he was going to get hurt. I'm telling you, all right. But then I got to the bottom of the story, and I decided, okay, I'm gonna let her mother deal with that. I'm gonna let my daughter deal with that, because my granddaughter cries wolf a lot, and you can't even breathe in her face without her ready to report you and fight you. So you gotta be careful with that.
But you know what?
Okay.
That remind me of a sad. Here's something that might make you want to take a quick pause for a quick moment. I'm reminded of this is really of a kind of a sad story. Similar situation. A young lady says she has a strict father. Whatever happened, she comes around and says, "Yeah, this guy over here, he put his hands on me. All right, he got fresh. He would try to sexually, approach her and stuff like that." Father got mad, went to the young man. Whatever happened, he winds up killing the kid. All right. Come to find out that she did that because the guy she was really messing around with somebody else. She thought she was going to get caught. So she said, "Well, I'm just going to blame it on this other kid."
Wow.
That's why you
So now
gotta
the
be
father's
careful
in
with that.
jail for killing a kid who had nothing to do with this thing at all because his own daughter lied.
Mhm.
Wow.
Gotta be careful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's here's the other thing. How many times have you heard of getting involved? Someone gets involved with a domestic case, and then she says, don't touch him, don't hit him, or now she's mad at you because you've pursued, straightening him out. So you don't even always get the cooperation from the victim.
That happened to me.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I was helping a family member. I don't want them mad at me, but I was one of my family members, very close to me. Her husband, black in her eye. Okay, and I went over there to deal with it, right? And while I was tussling with him, she took a broomstick and hit me upside my head. and that was it for me. I was like, you know what? Sock to the other eye now. Black in her other eye. Y'all belong together.
Yeah. Which now is the reason why it's a criminal offense if they find that either side has assaulted the other. Because what was happening was, these women would they would say, hey, I want to press charges, and then afterwards she changed her mind and she wouldn't show up to court, or she dropped the charges. And now it's like they're picking this case up regardless. They're not waiting for her to do anything anymore because she can't be relied upon anymore. So it's like, what do you do in those instances? Do you just let people be? Anika says, well, I was gonna ask about that. Anika says, yes, I'm thankful for the male protectors in my life. Sad the father lost his life, but I was afraid to get them involved. Shanti says that kind of lie is what killed Merlin Santana. And that's exactly what happened with the she lied and told the boyfriend that Merlin Santana did X, Y, and Z. They shoot and kill him only to find out later that she lied. So my thing is, okay, so in both cases of these stories, neither one went to the authorities. So my question is, and I'll start with you, Brother Ainsley, why not go to the authorities?
Because sometimes you feel like they're not going to take it seriously. They're not going to move on it fast enough. I'm this color, so things are going to move even slower. And we want stuff to happen right now. We want stuff to happen like today. I found out about it today. It needs to be addressed today. The trip I make to the precinct is the trip I can make to the guy's place. We want the justice immediately. Now we should, like I say, maybe I would take now as I'm older and take a little bit pause. I can't do what I used to do back in the day, and so maybe I might need to call the police. But I guess depending on the situation, maybe I would just call the police now. But earlier days, it was like, we handle this right now. We ain't gotta, do the 911, call the precinct, yada yada yada. No. But yeah, it's. I guess that should be the right way to go. But there's a right way to do things. But how things really go down? We're just gonna handle this,
Okay. Pastor KL, why not just go to the cops?
Well, I often said, and I've been saying this for years, when it comes down to justice, it's just us. When it's just us, there's no justice. So you're just running around through red tape. And by the time you try to find them, I've already found them. And we can have this conversation. We don't need no police report. We don't need no eyewitnesses. We don't need no trial. You're gonna be gone before the trial get here. That he won't be able to tell his side of the story.
Wow. Pastor Jeff, why not go to the authorities?
Well, I say, call the authorities, and like I said, I would wish that they get to them before me, because I really don't want to go to jail. I really don't, want this, but me as a man, you violated mine, and it's going to bother me, for the rest of my life, that I didn't try at least to get you. So there would be a hope that they get you before me, because I don't want to have to, go to jail for this, but I got to get you if they don't, But as a man, it's hard for us to let somebody else take care of what we feel like we should have took care of. I couldn't protect them, so now I got to get you for now. I got to rest of my life know that I couldn't protect you, because it's a situation happened a long time ago with somebody close to me, and to this day they didn't tell me because they knew I would have murdered that guy, and they were protecting me, but I'm still angry 40 years later, so to speak, that I didn't get a chance to deal with that because you didn't tell me. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I know why you didn't tell me, because I would have murdered them. And but I'm still bothered that I didn't get a chance to deal with that.
Wow.
We would have never met you, Pastor Jeff.
Right, you wouldn't have been on his due time.
You wouldn't have been on his due time.
I wouldn't have been. So I guess I'm happy they didn't tell me, but at the same time, all these years later, I'm still angry. I still be wishing that I could get at that person.
Wow. Okay, so you talked, Pastor Jeff, about this you intervened, and now you have the person attacking you. What happens, to you guys when they say, hey, leave him alone, don't bother him? We got Brother Al Brother Al on the line. Good morning, Brother Al.
Good morning to y'all. Good morning. Good to see y'all. Happy Friday.
All right, good to see you too, Brother Al. So we're talking about, two stories we just did. Today we did a story about a gentleman who had a daughter, and she was being abused by a young man. So he went to approach the young man about abusing his daughter, and the kid hit him in the head with a metal bat, and him and someone else attacked him, and he ended up dying. Yesterday we did a story about a gentleman who had a 6-year-old daughter who stumbled across a video of his 6-year-old daughter being sexually violated by his a good friend. So he drove the guy out to a remote location, had him dig a ditch, and incited him to suicide, made him kill himself. So everybody ended up celebrating him. He was sentenced to 18 months, but he only did 12 months. So the question was, how do you handle, you see the result of, addressing the abuse of your daughter? How do you handle it? So how would you answer that? What would you do if you found out someone was abusing your daughter?
Man, that's so hard. You want to try to say, I'll go to the authorities, I'll do this and that. But when it happens, you lose it because and people who don't have children don't understand that love for your child, and our job is to protect our children. And then here comes somebody violating your little child. I can just only understand that you snap for that few minutes and then you think about it. And as I was listening in, there was a story about a guy who's a UFC fighter, I think, and that happened to him. He found out somebody was abusing his child, and he came to the house. The guy was there. The guy jumped in the car, pulled off, and he in a high speed chase, shooting out the window, and he shot. He shot, but he shot the father because the father was trying to help him get away, and they gave him about 5 years in prison. But man, it's hard to say what I would do because once you snap, I don't know if anybody ever had that blind rage. I had that before, and it's scary. That blind rage is scary. So I would hope to try to say, let me call the cops. But I don't know how much that gonna work.
Okay. Well, listen, the other guys said the same thing. They ain't promising they calling no cops either. Pastor Jeff said he had an instance where he intervened when someone was had been abusing a close family member, and she hit him in the head with a broomstick. So my question now becomes, how do you handle someone who tells you, leave them alone, don't bother them? You're intervening on their behalf, but now they're mad at you. What do you do?
Oh man, you have to step back. I dealt with a situation with that with my cousin, my first cousin, and she was with this guy, and this guy, did some things to her and abused her, and everybody gun ho ready to go beat this guy up, and she deciding that, hey, listen, if things happen, don't bother him because I'm going to stay with him. And something my dad told me a long time ago. My dad said, "Why would you go in? We know you love the person, but why would you go in and risk yourself? So you go and you do something to this guy, you're going to jail, and then she's still going to be with him." So it's hard. But I said, you know what? I was mad when I found out, and once I saw she was like, "Well, I'm not going away. I'm still going to be with him." I had to suck that up and step back and say, "Okay, well, I hope he don't kill you, but that's what you're going to do. I'm not going to risk myself and losing everything, and you still going to be with the guy." So I took a step back. So you have to step back on that. You might be angry or whatever, but you can't be more mad than somebody if they ain't mad for themselves. So I stepped back and just hope and pray. I stepped back and I prayed for them. I actually did. I learned from being on the Due Time show. Prayer works. We got to pray. So and I'm being honest about that because I'm like, "What, you hurting family? Like, you serious?" And then when she was like, I'm gonna be with him. You know what? No problem. I'm gonna go home and pray for you and him, and for me.
Okay. Brother Ainsley, what do you do when someone tells you, back off? I'm gonna do what I'm gonna do. We're gonna be together. That's the father of my children, and we didn't been together for this many years.
You kind of like Brother Al.
I'm not ready to leave.
Yeah, you gotta be like Brother Al. You might have to back off, but now, because I know very situations like you go, like I said, my cousin, we wanted to go do business and he wasn't there. Same thing happened again. We go back up again and he bounces out. But after a while, it's like, look, why am I coming way over here to handle this situation? All you gotta do is leave. You can leave with me right now. We ain't gotta come back here no more. So it's like, I'm not, after a while, sort of thing, I ain't gonna keep putting myself in jeopardy, and you just gonna stay right here. Like, I'm going to face whatever's going to come out of this, and next thing you know, you're gonna be right back here with this dude again. And having a good friend of mine do the same thing. She want her family to come handle her boyfriend and then her husband, but you stay in there. And it was like, now then she gets mad when her family don't want to intervene. But I'm like, but you still staying there. I don't get that mentality. So sometimes you're just gonna have to back off. Like, God forbid, having to one of my daughters, I'm gonna be, listen, I handle this, but you got to leave right now. If you're not gonna leave right now, I'm leaving. I'm leaving, but you should leave with me right now. Get out, because if you're gonna stay here, then ain't no need for me to be in here. You know what I'm saying? But so that's how it is. I agree with Brother Al. It can't. You got to get out too.
Okay. Pastor KL, how do you deal with the person that doesn't want you to interfere?
All right, so I'm a little different. If a family member calls me about another family member who's getting beat up, then that's on you. But if you call the fire department, you yourself getting beat up, and you call the fire department because you can't handle the fire, you ever see what the fire department do? They come and rip everything up in your house because you said there's a fire. I mean, if you call the fire department, you can't handle the fire at that particular time. The fire department don't get there and you say, oh, you know what? It was just a little smoke. No, they're going to take precautions and knock your house down. So whether you change your mind at that point or not, I'm already there. I'm sorry. You wasted my gas. Somebody needs to get hurt. Somebody's paying for gas and my mileage.
Oh my goodness gracious. Okay, interesting thought. Wow. Okay. Pastor Jeff, you said that, you said, all right, black in the other eye, but is that where it ends for you? Hey, I'm backing off. Or is there another instance where you would pursue anything?
Well, I've been on this earth for a little bit now, and I've learned some things. And call the police. All right, I'll come to help you leave. But most likely you're gonna come back. It's not worth it for me to ruin my life behind you. And that's including, like with my kids. I tussled with one of my eldest daughter's boyfriend years ago, and my jaw was swollen and everything else. I was 40 and he was 20, and and that's when I realized I was getting older then, it took one of my deacons in the church who played football to help me take this boy down. It happened at the church, and I needed help to take him down. So I realized, I'm not Superman. And then I have other kids. I have a wife. I remember telling my eldest daughter, listen, you got to leave this boy alone, and she did. But look, I almost got my jaw broke for her mess. So I've learned, in situations like that, if you're not willing to call the police on them, don't call me. Okay? Don't call me.
Wow.
Hey, Pastor Steph, I wanted to make a comment on that too, that what people don't understand as well. Just because you call me to come help you, don't mean I'm gonna win that fight either, because I've seen that. Somebody went and got somebody, that person came and got beat down. So now I got beat up because of your nonsense, and I had nothing to do with it. So people have to keep that in mind too. When people call people, oh, I'm gonna go do this and do that. How you know that guy in the boxer? How you know that guy don't know karate or whatever? So keep that in mind as well.
Well, that's exactly what happened in the case that we talked about today, in the story we talked about today. He went over to the young man's place or whatever to confront him, and he lost his life. And the daughter, and they assaulted the daughter at the same time. So, now the man is gone. Now, we don't know whether she would have gone back to him or how many times this happened, if this was the first time. We don't know any of that information from the article. What we do know is that, he was there to protect his daughter, to stand up for his daughter. And, you get hit in the head with a metal baseball bat, you're going down. And they're, subsequently, they're beating you up. It wasn't just him. It was him and someone else. beat him up and ended up killing him. And it, like you said, it does happen. Like Pastor Jeff says, yeah, you may very well lose that fight. Let's see what's going on in this.
And I'm sorry, Pastor, just real quick. And I personally witnessed a situation like that with a friend of mine when I was in school. He kept picking on this guy, and this guy was quiet, didn't do anything, and he kept picking on the guy. And I used to tell him, yo, the dude ain't doing nothing to you. Why you picking on him? He's like, oh, I just don't like him. I said, well, stop picking on him. One day the guy got fed up and was like, I'm tired of you picking on me. After school, we're going to fight. So after school, he beat my boy up. And then my boy went and got his brother. His brother came up to the school, pushed the kid around. The other kid went and got his brother. His brother came up to the school and shot this guy's brother in the face and killed him. So
wow,
he been messed up ever since. Ever since that happened, his life, because now he had to live with, I got my brother killed for your nonsense. And I tell the kids that here at school, if you get in a beef with somebody, whatever the case may be, that should be between you and them. Stop calling other people in because people can lose their life. And that's so sad that man lost his life. Then the story you're saying, you lost his life and you still got abused. Like, that's crazy.
Yeah. This is it has results that you may not be ready for. Let's see. We got the comments. You put your hands in on my parents. I have to get at you now. I've witnessed too many times people calling others and their people are the ones who get hurt. Always made me hesitant to get my boyfriends or make friends involved in anything. So I want to ask you, gentlemen, for mothers, for single mothers, what do you advise her to do, Brother Al?
Okay, well, from what you just spoke about,
somebody's abusing my daughter. What do I do?
I would say
call the cops.
Right. You have to, because you got to watch what you're getting into. I know from the jump, your mind says, let me go hurt this person, this and that. But you have to get the legal authorities involved. You have to, because this can just go straight left, go way out, because now you're mad, you're not thinking, and you go running up and then this person might have a weapon like this with this man. You went running over there and they had a bat and they beat you down. So no matter how angry you are, I would say you have to go to the authorities. Do it the right way, because it may not end the way you think it's going to end.
Okay. Pastor KL, I want to ask you, this is a single mother. It's her only recourse. Is you're only suggesting call the cops?
Yeah, I say call the cops. I mean, especially in this time of age, if you're a single mother and you're a ratchet mother, that means your child ratchet. That means your child did something to provoke this man. I mean, so yeah, call the cops. Don't call me, cause as a baby daddy, because I already know what you raised. So call the cops and let the cops deal with it.
Okay, Pastor Jeff, is that the only suggestion you have? Is just call the cops?
Listen, or call some thugs that have already messed up criminal record and everything else that to go deal with that. Because don't ruin my life with your mess that you're not willing to walk out of.
Okay, and Brother Ainsley, what we telling her?
I'll say, even before we get there, prevention is better than cure. I would say talk to your daughter so to know different. You can most of the time smell stuff before it gets to you. If there's certain behavior tactics, whatnot. If you're in an abusive relationship, that means he already started. The first time a man put his hands on you, that should be the last time and whatnot. There should be no reason for you to go back. So it starts from preventing, letting your child know this kind of behavior we don't deal with. You wasn't brought up into this. Let her know certain things is not love, or I'm taking this, whatever. No. There's a way, it's proper behavior. Man ain't supposed to put his hand on a woman like that. So prevention is better. Let her know to avoid those kind of situations. But then if it does happen, yeah, then you call the police, and maybe Pookie number, You get Pookie and them a call and and deal with that. And I mean, the father's around, and father, depending what that situation is like, because the father may know how the mother is, and the daughter might be growing up in a certain like Brother KO said, you already know how that is already. So yeah, you gonna have to call the police. But like we talking about another man coming in and handle that. Maybe the father do that, or a brother or uncle, but you always got the police resource. Yeah, but I say prevention is better than cure, though.
Okay.
You gotta know better. Don't put yourself in a situation or allow stuff to be happening to you and think, oh, okay, I can change him, or it'll change, or that's just how he is and stuff like that. No. We don't do that. That's not proper behavior. No, that's a problem. And recognize it.
Well, it's interesting because that was one of my last questions, and I'll start with you, Brother Al. What happens when she's the aggressor? When she's the one who's always starting and provoking. How do you handle that?
Oh man, try to get her some help because I know what you do. And that's just like some of the kids here. You know what your kids do when they come to school, So definitely try to get her some help. Like you need some help because you're gonna get yourself hurt. I'm gonna constantly tell you, baby, you're gonna get yourself hurt. You're gonna get yourself hurt. And I'm not gonna get hurt with you. So we're gonna go get you some help. You need to talk to somebody and stop doing this because you're gonna put yourself in a situation, not just only you in a situation. You're gonna put me in a situation because I'm looking to try to protect you. So no, we're gonna get you some help.
Okay. Pastor Jeff, what do you do when she's the aggressor? She's starting all of this stuff here.
I intervened in a situation like that because the man was on top of the woman, right? And I just knew he was the aggressor, and I hit him, and then he turned around and was like, "Yo, man, I'm just trying to hold her from hitting me," and found out that she was the one doing all the hitting and he just trying to stop her,
Wow.
And I see a lot of that, believe it or not. I know women like, oh, man abuses abuser. I seen a lot of women are actually the abusers, I had one in my life. She always hit me, and I was taught not to hit a woman back, and I took a lot of abuse, you know, and she always had that problem, and so, I listen. I don't know. Call the cops on her. You know what I'm saying?
No, this is your daughter.
No, I'm just saying, it's my daughter, and I need to get her some help.
Okay.
I need to get her some help if she's like that.
All right.
And my eldest daughter got, she got that in her.
Okay.
So I'm a look into that situation deeper to find out who is the aggressor if a situation arises with her, and her fiance,
Okay.
Pastor Jeff is a thug. Pastor Jeff is a thug.
I ain't no thug. Don't want to be that.
Brother Ainsley, what happens when it's your daughter who's the aggressor?
Here we go. Prevention is better than cure. If you know your daughter's that aggressive, you should have dealt with that before she got old enough to, to go there. But if she is, at some point, it's that saying, you F around and find out. She gonna have to find out because she gotta have how you want. You can talk all you want, but some people, they just got to find out on their own the consequences of their behavior. Certain things is not tolerable. You just can't be aggressive, beating up on people. I think there's not going to be no consequences behind it. There's going to be no repercussions on it. So some people going to have to find out. If it's my daughter, I'm like, if it was one of my godsons or something, you're going to have to find out. I can tell you, I can guide you, but at this point, I'm not raising you. I'm guiding you. So if you don't want to take the advice or whatnot.
All right. What about Pastor KL? How do you handle that? She's the aggressor.
Well, at this point, you've already experienced this, so you know she's the aggressor. You know, she used to beat up her brothers and sisters. You know what I mean? You knew that when she got a boyfriend, she gonna beat him up too. So at this point, I'm going to the house to talk to the brother. Hey man, this ain't what you want. She ain't the one for you. We need to come on out of here. Go get your bag. Go ahead, man. I know you're in love, but love don't hurt this bad. I'm talking to the brother. You know what I mean? You need to come on out of here because you gonna wind up in jail.
I
You know
had
what
a
I mean?
father tell me that when I was
Yeah,
dating his son.
you don't wind up in jail. This ain't who you want. I know her. I lived with her. I've seen what she did to her siblings. Bro, come on out of here, man. Yeah, come on out of here. Let's go together. You can stay at my house if you ain't got no place to stay for a couple of weeks. But you need to leave her alone. Yeah, I'm on the brother side at that point.
All righty. Ooh, this has been some conversation. Thank you so much, my due time men, for your contribution into today's conversation. And we pray you have a blessed weekend.
You too. Enjoy the weekend.
Thank you. Thank you.
Have a great weekend.
Thank you, Brother Al. Ooh. You know, this is a situation again that's it's prevalent. It's prevalent. Just like I said, we didn't get, this conversation didn't just get stimulated out of nowhere. It came from the news. And I always say, as long as there's news, there will always be a conversation in the due time room. It's very difficult to see your child, abused, mistreated. And as we, saw for the past 2 days, this is how men have handled it. One man was praised for his behavior and his, decision, and another man literally lost his life. How do you get that back? You can't. You can't get that back. And again, we don't know whether this was her first time that she was being abused. We don't know if this was a repeat offense. We don't know how old she was. We don't know if she still lived at home. We don't know if she was the aggressor. We don't know anything. But what we do know is a father, felt like he needed to handle the situation. Do you go to the police? Do you handle it yourself? Do you call the police on your way to handling it? There's so many different ways to handle it, but of course there's only one right way to handle it. The men were speaking from personal experience. The men were speaking from just in case. But it's very difficult as a parent. It's very difficult to call it and say, I'm a Christian parent and this is how I'm going to handle it. There's, as Brother Al said, sometimes our best intent, you just dealing with the situation in that moment. And guess what? It could be the right move or the wrong move. It could be the right move for the wrong reason and the wrong move for the right reason. So either way, we're stuck. We're stuck. Being a parent is extremely hard. Being a parent, sometimes you've got to make snap judgments and snap decisions. And then later on, you find out that wasn't the best way to handle that. But all you know is you want to prevent this from happening. You want to deal with what is happening at the time. For the single mothers out there, you pretty much don't have any other recourse but to call the authorities first. You're not going to go up against a man. They see you coming. What does that look like to them? You're just another person they're getting ready to abuse. It's not going to change anything. If your child is the aggressor, I agree 100% with Pastor KL. This stuff that went on in your home. You've seen how she's treated her brothers and sisters. So you pretty much know that she's going to be the one who's going to cause the problems in the relationship. What was going on in that home that she was such an angry little girl, that she was beating up or mistreating her siblings? A lot of stuff to think about. When we're Christians, it's a very hard decision to make sometimes when you got to be Christian. I got to do the Christian thing. You may want to do the thing that's on your heart, that's in your mind to do, but I got to be that Christian. It's very difficult. It's something to say, well, my child is being abused, so I'm going to go pray. Yeah, that ain't an easy decision to make. That, I'm going to go pray on this thing. And as the men have said, sometimes the authorities just are not doing or responding the way they should be. So, you know what? As you're raising your children, Brother Ainsley said it best. Prevention is better than cure. And it is best to just talk to your children and help them to understand that this is not acceptable behavior. As soon as you see this stuff happening, get out. Y'all, listen, if you've listened to me long enough, you know what I say, as Pastor Jeff would say, you know how I feel. Get out, and get out yesterday. Don't get out now. Get out yesterday. I always think about the fact that, God allowed the abuse to happen to me very young in my life. And that was so that I could detect later abuse, because abuse comes in many shapes, forms, and fashions prior to it becoming physical. Yeah. Ain't nobody just busting off and hitting you. There's some other stuff that's taking place. And one of the things that I've learned, I don't tolerate abuse at all. I am able to detect abuse very early. I can call abuse, and other people are looking around going, oh, all it is, no, it's abuse. Because you can learn very early what abuse is. So, you say, well, why me? Why God let it happen to me? One of the things, I could benefit from it, and I could help other people, be able to detect. I'm letting you know right now, that's abuse. Leave. If they really care about you, if they really love you, they're not going to abuse you. As one of the gentlemen, I think it was Pastor KL, said, love don't hurt that bad. Well, love doesn't hurt at all. Yeah. The love that God has for us does not hurt at all. Nope. Not at all. So you marinate on that. You've been watching It's Due Time with Pastor Steph. Join us Monday through Friday from 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. where we discuss matters of the heart, mind, and spirit. As you go through your day, be sure to set your mind on things that are above, not on things that are on the earth. They will only serve as a distraction. Remember, prayer changes things. It's Pastor Steph signing off, and I want to thank my Due Time crew, my man, for always coming through big time. Thank you for helping us in that chat room, keeping that conversation going. Please do not miss this opportunity to give Christ your life right now. Please do not miss the opportunity to strengthen that relationship with the Lord right now, because later is not promised to any of us. Until Sunday, God spares, where we're in the prayer room. The word prayer project is in effect. Come on in the room and see what we're praying about. Until then, I love you.